Hello friends, welcome to another colour along. Today we are colouring from Tiny Tales, Volume 2, which has got a Christmas section, and we've picked this page from the Christmas section. And I've just realised that I may have used some of these illustrations in my recent Advent calendar. If you're not in the RJ Hampson Colour Club Facebook group, then you should join it, because whole lots of fun stuff's going on over there, and people are posting all of the stuff they're colouring, and it's fabulous. But we are doing an Advent calendar which has 25 days to colour as we roll into Christmas, and I'm enjoying it, and I think other people are as well. So jump into that. If you don't have Tiny Tales, then you can grab the December Colour Club pack, which includes all of the things I'll be colouring in December, including this page. Colour along with us without having to purchase all the books. And I think I might do this in alcohol markers just to be different. So I have a sheet of paper underneath this folded over, and I do have another copy of Tiny Tales underneath it just to keep the page up so it doesn't sort of jump about so much when I'm filming. And I'm going to start with the top left corner, and I've got a neutral grey 040 here. I'm going to colour this little mouse in with that neutral grey 040. At the top, I'm going to find another neutral grey. Here is a neutral grey 023, which is lighter. And I have a Mellow peach. I'm going to use that Mellow peach on his snout, in his ear, and on his toes, even on his tail. And this is a neutral grey 051. Now I do have some Prismacolors. This is a hot pink. And I'm going to bring that hot pink into the mouse's nose and onto the tail. And this is another Prismacolor white. All right, let's look at these books. The Christmas books. So maybe they need to be Christmas coloured. Maybe not. Let's do some. Let's go off piste and do some lavenders or something. All right, I have a colour here called Mentha Piperita, which is an interesting name for a colour. They're very creative people, the people who come up with the names for all of these colours. And I'm going to mix that with a bit of violet. And I'll put a little bit of violet as a shadow under this little mouse. I'm going to bring back in my Mentha Piperita just to blend that in a little. And I'm going to do this Mellow peach colour. We used that on the mouse, I think. And I'm going to mix that with a little bit of antique fuchsia. I'm going to bring back more violet for a minute just to colour that little bit in. And I think what I need is some mushroom white. For the pages of these books, they look old, don't they? They'd be nice and yellowed. And I think we'll get a nice colour like a tan. Let's get a tan in for these little, they're going to be gold embossing on the cover, but I was thinking of doing a nice brown underneath them in the hope that when I bring in my gold ink, which I'm going to do now, it will help to highlight that. Alright, let's get that mushroom white and we'll use that as a shadow. And we'll bring the tan back in. I think these rocks should be tan. I'm going to bring back my hot pink for a moment. My Prismacolor and just put in a couple of little highlights. And this is a colour called Parma Violet. This beautiful colour called Sunburst Yellow. Oh. Just doesn't seem to want to play with this today. But we'll give it a go anyway with a little blunt nib. I really want this colour to work. Thanks, Prismacolor. Here's another colour. What's this? Lemon Yellow. And a little bit of white wouldn't go astray, would it? Just to enhance our highlights, which we've tried to put in. Right, let's move on. I'm happy with that little mouse. I'm not happy with how my paper's sitting. But that's easy fixed. Right, another colour here called Red Grey. And I'm just going to do various parts of this roof in that red grey. And I'm going to bring in a colour called Reddish Brass. And I'm going to bring in tan as well. Now let's bring in some Mellow Peach. I'm going to do the little rims of this roof in that Mellow Peach. And I'm going to even mix it with the antique Fuchsia. which we used on this bottom book over here. And let's continue that colour down into the cement base. Or is it a wood base? Who knows? Let's get Mellow Peach. Well, there's bricks there, so there's cement somewhere in there. That's the Mellow Peach. This is the Antique Fuchsia. This is Mentha Piperita. You may remember we used some of that earlier. I'm going to do my Christmas boot, stocking, whatever that is. It's a Christmas stocking, and this bow, let's do that as well, in the Mentha Piperita. Sounds like a dance, doesn't it? Let's all do the Mentha Piperita. I'm also going to bring my violet. That's Antique Fuchsia. And the mushroom white. It's not going to go astray on our boot, and indeed on these support structures for our roof. And this is my lemon yellow. I'm going to bring a gold ink pen in for these little. I'm even going to do this top a bit gold. And I think hot pink wouldn't go astray in our bunting. And I'm going to bring back that lemon yellow. And I think the mushroom white, which we used under this mouse for a shadow, let's do the same thing here. Beautiful. Alrighty. I'm going to pause that for now. In a moment, after I bring out my white, I just want to have a bit of highlight. All right, let's look at this little mouse. He's looking a little strung out, I must say. Let's change his eye. Make him look a bit tired. What do you think? I'm going to bring the same colours in. This is a Mellow Peach. I'm going to mix that with an Antique Fuchsia. And a little bit of hot pink. This is our Mentha Piperita. I'm not going to give him a red suit, I'm going to give him a purple suit. And I just want to blend that with violet. And I've got this colour called Orchid. neutral grey 023. We use that to base this little mouse. Why don't we do the same to this one? Neutral grey 040. And a little bit of that neutral grey 051. I'm going to use that in his boot, in both his boots, and a mellow peach. We'll do that in his snout. Hot pink, let's do hot pink on the eyelid, get that nose happening. A little bit in the ear. And then a little bit of white, just to indicate some fur. And this is a new colour, a cream colour. I'm going to use that for the white bits because I think they're just too white. They need to be knocked back a little bit. The mushroom white. I'm going to use that as also a shadow. Alright, I'm going to move on. I've got a cactus here. And I also have a celery yellow. Let's see what happens if we put that colour in. I'm going to use mushroom white. A bit weird, I know, but it sort of works. And I have this colour called Deep Yellow Green. And a mellow peach for this grass. And I think mushroom white. I have all these lights, and I have a pastel yellow. I'm going to do two of them pastel yellow. I'm going to bring our Mentha Piperita. I'm going to bring our mellow peach. And I think a violet. I've got a primrose here, which is a really light yellow. This is a colour called Spring Green. And I'm just going to put a touch in. And I'm going to bring back my hot pink. quite happy with my sort of purple themed page. I'm going to keep going now. I'm going to go to these mushrooms, and I think what I'm going to do is use my, I still can't remember the name, Mentha Piperita. What even is that? And I'm going to bring my violet in, of course. What we need is some mellow peach. And a little bit of antique fuchsia. Now this is cream colour. And this is mushroom white. Now back to my Mentha Piperita. And I think a bit of violet wouldn't go astray. I've got a neutral grey 023. I'll leave some white. This is just shadowing. Alright, we've got snow here, so I'm not going to use my mushroom white, which I have been doing. We might need some more colours. Alright, this is a light hydrangea. And this is a pale blue-grey. Alright, let's get our Colorless blender into this snow and see what happens. Beautiful things happen. Okay, this is a hot pink. Why? Why? Because it looks great. Going to put a little bit of that hot pink into the snow. Now let's bring some white in. Can soften a few of those little bits that we want to soften. This is a neutral grey 040. I just think we need a little bit of help with our shadows on this. Right, I'm going to move on from that to the final illustration on this page, which is this present. And we do have a mushroom white. And I'm going to make the tag mushroom white first thing. Now, this is a lemon green. Bet you didn't see that coming. And a celery yellow. Actually, I should put the celery yellow on this side. And a deep yellow green. And this is our mellow peach. Mentha Piperita. Mentha Piperita. And I'm going to bring that in and use the mellow peach as a highlight in a way. And why not? Let's bring some violet in. And of course, I think hot pink could be called for as well. All right, this is spring green. And I think we should try and put a pattern on this. I don't think it really matters what pattern you want to draw. And I'm bringing in my mushroom white. Just for underneath and for the shadows. And I'm going to bring in this Colorless blender, which has still got some blue in it from my snow, which I want because now I'm going to blend that in. All right, here's some white. Just going to put in some little sort of subtle highlights. light peach, that's what we have here. And it could be nice just to sort of blend out some of those harsh marker edges with some soft pencil. It's going to help us also segue from our mushroom white to our mellow peach, which we've been using elsewhere in the picture. You might have noticed that today we used a really limited palette. And we just doubled down on all of the different things, and the limited palette is a really fun thing to do sometimes if you don't want to have to make lots of colour decisions. So I used the violets, and a complementary colour to those violets was the mellow peach and the mushroom, and then we used a full contrast with the greens, a little bit of yellowy orange. So pick your main colour, pick a complementary colour to back it up, then pick a contrasting colour on the other side of the colour wheel to just bring in that really vibrant contrast. If you want to, I do it a lot. It works. I'm really happy with that page. Christmas, I'm going to call it finished. Tiny Tales, what a wonderful series of little books Tiny Tales are. I can't wait to do another one. Maybe in 2026 we can do some more Tiny Tales books. So many things we need to do, so little time. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little Christmas special from Tiny Tales. If you have, leave a comment below. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching today's video. I'm going to say I'll see you no doubt in another video, but for now, it's goodbye. I'll see you later.